Namaste folks, this is Vineet. In this video, we will look at how to determine the time and location of an International Space Station transit of the Sun or the Moon, and what are the things to keep in mind while planning to capture a transit. To find the exact time and location of the transit, we will use a free website called transitfinder.com. So on Transit Finder, we have the option to enter the latitude and longitude, or instead of entering it manually, we can just select auto detect and it will fill in the values, or we can select from the map. Then we have to select the time span for the calculation. So usually I will select like 1 day prior to the current date. So I can choose 20 here, and whatever date in future that you wish to see the calculation for. Then you can select the distance around your current location for which the calculation should be done. And then we need to hit calculate. And then the Transit Finder website will give us a list of transits that are coming up. So it is not just showing the transit over the Sun or the Moon, but also passing nearby. So if it is passing nearby, it means that if we move the location, there's a chance we can see the transit happening across the disk of the Sun or the Moon. So I will take a look at this one because this seems to be the closest transit that is occurring for my location. So if I say show on the map, then what we can see is it shows as a placeholder which I selected. So this is my location that I selected. And then there is a path where the ISS will transit the Moon, in this case, directly in the middle of the Moon. What we need to do is we need to find the location which is accessible to us, like a road or an open area where we can go and try and capture this transit. So for example, I will try and select this location. And then what we can do is we can say recalculate for this location. So in that case, the calculation is redone for that new location. And you can see that the transit is going to happen and the ISS will pass directly across the disk of the Moon. And it's actually going to be a very thin crescent in this particular case. And the date is going to be 11th of April 2021 and at 8:19. So if we click on more information, it actually gives a lot more information about this particular transit as well. Reach the location in advance, you can know for sure whether you would be able to set up and then get a clear view or not. Otherwise, you still have some time to move around and then find a better location. Remember to keep your personal safety into consideration when you're choosing a location. Take some trial shots of the Sun or the Moon and adjust things like the exposure settings and make sure that you can get the focus right. Plan to reach the location where you want to capture the transit from at least 1 hour early so that you allocate enough time for this as well. If you're taking a solar transit, for example, getting the focus might be a bit tricky because of the brightness. You want to take a cloth or something to cover yourself while you're looking into the camera screen so that you're able to get clear focus. To record solar images, you need to follow a lot of precautions, make sure that you're using a complete aperture filter and you're using the right gear. You're closing any additional items like finder scope. Make sure you're not using it. Just unscrew it and keep it aside, or at least make sure that it is blocked completely so that you don't spoil your gear or cause any accidents. The time predicted by Transit Finder, I found it to be somewhat accurate. So you can start recording the footage maybe a minute or two before the expected start time, and then keep observing, and then even if you missed it, continue at a few minutes after the expected time. That way you can take the footage back, review it, because it happens pretty fast. There is a chance that you might not see the transit happening while you're recording. So just make sure that you cover enough of a time duration that you're not going to miss the transit itself while you're recording. So yes, you actually need to record a video and not try to capture a single image or even at burst mode, because you might end up missing the transit altogether. So you will need to record the video at the maximum frame rate possible. Also keep the exposure length as short as possible so that the space station is not blurred in the final images. Leave a like if you found this useful and subscribe for more content like this.